morning. It's day 17.
Good morning.
I feel like we're... Go ahead. You slept what?
I slept for 8 hours last night.
Really?
Yeah, I did what the doctors said.
Did you do anything special to prepare? Did you meditate?
No, I went to bed. So I'm planning a trip to Wales at the moment. I'm going to be in Wales in mid-February. If anyone seeing this wants to try and have lunch or something.
Right.
And so I have a book called The History of Wales. It's like 600 pages or something. And I don't know because it's on the Kindle though, you know? So you're like, how? But I know I read last night for like 40 minutes and it was still on 1%. So it's I'm going to be reading it through Wales, I think. But anyway.
Wow. Okay.
So I went to bed and I read, and then when I started almost dropping the Kindle on my face, I put it away and went to sleep.
There you go.
And I didn't like chip a tooth on my Kindle or anything. So that was good.
Chip a tooth on my Kindle. Oh, funny. I'm still old school. Like when I read in bed, which is not very often, because usually by the time I actually make it there, I'm over it. I'm done. I just snuggle down in and that's that. But on the rare occasions I do, I still have like one of those itty bitty booklets that you clip onto the book, and it has the little bendy arm that, and the light bulb thing's about this big,
Yeah. I much prefer reading from a proper book.
Yeah.
But I also, I was always one of these people who was like, I'm going to have a big library in my house. That's going to be my sign of how I've made it. And in life is I'm going to have all these bookshelves with all the books I love on them.
Right.
And then I had to move house like six times in 10 years back and forth across the ocean. And I was like, I'm hauling all these books that I loved when I read them, and I'm probably not going to read them again because there's other books. Now, there are books that I do hold on to, but
yeah,
I've just been off sizing, whatever. And and so now as I buy books, I'm like, is this a Kindle or is this a keep forever and cherish or whatever? Yeah. And I sort of buy accordingly.
Sure.
Or like, where am I going to be reading this? If I'm going to be reading this on a plane as I go somewhere, I probably buy it on my Kindle just because I'm going to have to take my iPad anyway. So I have the Kindle app on my iPad. Sure. So I'm like, I'll just get it on that, and it's one less thing to carry.
It's one less thing in your bag. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, there are definite advantages both ways for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
cool. But I definitely prefer reading from a proper book still.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
But yay for sleeping 8 hours.
Yeah, it was weird. It was nice.
Yeah. So I did not sleep that long, but that's okay. I usually don't. It's all right, but I'm a napper.
So I love a good nap. I love a good nap. I'll be going strong sometimes, and then all of a sudden I'm like, nope, nap time, and just have to go take a nap. Go lay down.
I had this vision. I just had this vision of like wind up Anne going along.
That's pretty much how it is.
Nope, nap time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like,
I think I have ADHD. I'm pretty convinced of it by this point. And I've never been diagnosed for it. But one of my brothers has, both my kids have, and it manifests differently in women and girls than it does in boys.
Right.
And so the more I learn about it because of my own kids, the more I'm like, oh, I have this. And just have the coping mechanisms I had to develop over time because it wasn't recognized. And it was just like, stop doing this. Okay. And then, you figure out a way around it.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things, like as I'm learning more about it, one of the things is that, you are getting the dopamine hits through the day for whatever reason with ADHD, like you're accomplishing things or sorting things or whatever.
Yeah.
But then if the dopamine flow stops, then you crash.
You're tired.
And I'm like, that sounds very familiar.
Right.
So, because it's not even like I'm tired, because it's like 20 minutes before this, I wasn't tired, but it's just like, poof, done. Go refresh. Okay. And then I can go back into the
And
flow.
even a half hour is good.
Yeah.
Napping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh, I love a nap.
me too.
I love a nap. Anyway, it's not just the napping thing. There's a lot of things that make me think that I have. My one child was like, you should go get diagnosed.
It's when your children tell you that.
I'm like, I've made it this far without medical intervention, just understanding a little bit more has been helpful, and
Right?
it's fine.
So you said it's raining and now it's snowing.
Yeah. So I could hear the rain this morning, and I opened the curtains, and our bedroom overlooks the front of the house.
Mhm.
And you know how when it rains over snow, where people have walked becomes very apparent. Either it's their footsteps remain
Mhm.
or the footsteps melt first. Like, it
Right.
depends on the quality of the snow.
Right.
So I open my windows, and there are footsteps in our front yard, like coming across the front of the house and then looping across the front of our house back to the driveway. And I'm like, what the flip? Who has been walking around our house while my husband hasn't been here in the snow? And then I remembered that corner of the house is where the meter is.
The utility people, right.
The utility people came and checked the meter, but I was like, what is going on? Do I need to call the police? Anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we have about 75% of the snow is gone. It's still raining. It was like raining and snowing, and
No.
now it's gone back to rain again. Like, that was just a few minutes ago. It was rain snowing.
Yeah. We call that
So,
rotten snow when it gets all nasty.
yeah.
Yeah, it's rotten snow.
But you know why? It's because my husband's on his way back. He will be back tomorrow, and so all the snow has to go away before he comes back, because
Well,
the
he can
snow is
just melt
scaring
it
him.
on his way home.
You just melted on his way home, but it's like, it's just scared of him anyway, and just taking care of it himself. Because
I got on my little tractor and scooped out the driveway yesterday. I haven't been anywhere yet, but I could.
But now you can.
But my
Has
husband
it?
made it home, so he was able to get
That's
in.
good.
But where he would pull off the road, though, that was all kind of like wind blown open, and then there was like huge drift in front of the dumpster. So I had to scoop that out because dumpster guy maybe will come today.
Maybe.
Well, I say maybe because if they're behind from the roads being closed, and they might or might not
Yeah.
be here today if their like
Yeah.
schedule is backed up. But I hope they come because they only come once every 2 weeks. So that'd be nice if the dumpster person came.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say dumpster guy. They used to have a female dumpster driver truck person.
Dumpster person.
Yeah. Truck
So
driver.
how,
The
I
dumpster truck
imagine like
driver.
your snow's not melted at all though yet. You're
Oh no, it
like
was
still
13
cold.
degrees this morning
Yeah. Ugh.
with about a 20-mile-an-hour wind. So I don't even know what that is. Cold, really cold.
I disapprove of that. I don't know
Yeah.
what the temperature is here, but it's warm enough for it to be rain instead of snow.
Okay, so this is kind of a first world problem, but not really, because I feel like anybody that has
37.
chickens anywhere in the world could have this problem. So it's not just my problem. So I forgot to get the eggs yesterday.
Oh.
And then it's like 9 degrees overnight.
Oh, so they froze.
So yes, they all froze. Some of them cracked. And
Ooh.
like you can tell well, I mean, it's still frozen. The membrane is not
Oh, that's true.
broken, so that's fine. But anyway, I put them all in a little, like a little size bucket, brought them inside. The ones that are cracked are in a bowl on the counter. Cause I'm like, yeah, I could just make like a cream cheese pound cake that uses 6 eggs, right? And then I'll eat the other 2 for breakfast.
Yeah.
And then maybe my kid will eat one. I don't know. But then there were like 6 or 7 that were not cracked. So those are fine. I don't know. But that's a problem. You gotta keep up on getting the eggs.
Yeah, even when it's cold. So I started reading this little book I picked up when I was in Iceland last spring, and it's just been sitting on my bedside table. And it's called like The Little Book of Icelanders in the Old Days or something like that.
Yeah.
But it was talking about how I only read the very first chapter. They're like 2-3 page chapters in a very little book like this, you know. So I read one while my bath was filling up this morning, and it was talking about turf houses
Yeah.
and how everyone had turf houses at first.
Sure.
And then they started, you know, like longhouses, basically, like Viking longhouses was how it started. But then they started, you know, we'll add a storage room, we'll add this, well, eventually it became like tunnel houses, they would call them. So it was like you would just have a walkway to get to every building that you needed that was completely a
Yeah.
tunnel,
Yeah.
you know. That's genius. And you do see that in New England, actually, where people will have like their house and the add-on to the house, and then like you could tell they connected up with like a shed, and then and then the shed connects up to the barn. And it's funny to like be in one of those and like go from the barn back to the house, because it gets like cleaner and cleaner as you get to the house.
Right. It's true. Yeah. So, I don't think it's going to get any warmer. It's supposed to be negative degrees next week.
Ugh. Yeah.
So I just need to.
I'm only an hour south of where I grew up, and I'm amazed at how different the weather is here versus where I grew up. Like, I'm sure it's snowing where I grew up right now, as
Yeah.
opposed to rain.
Well, I mean,
Like,
just
but
100 feet in elevation makes a big difference.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and it's, I don't know. I still think I think we're still pretty low in elevation, though the edge of the Adirondacks is like very close to where I grew up. And so, and like they were in our school district. And so a lot of the times those kids would get snow delays, and we would have to be at school in time, but they would show up 2 hours later because the plows would need time.
Yeah.
Because they got snow and we didn't.
And their bus was later. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, so I have a question.
yes, you do.
Well, and I have something I want to talk about. I have something I want to talk about today.
Okay.
So because we're only a week out ish from Christmas,
Yes.
what, 9 days, whatever, 8 days. I don't do whatever. Math is hard.
Barbie,
But
1990.
I always remember like the 18th is a week away from Christmas. So this is the
Yes.
17th. This is day 17.
Yeah. It's not this Sunday, it's next Sunday.
I know that people like freak out and they want to knit something super fast. For like some people will freak out and they'll be like, what kind of project can I knit in a week? I'm like, okay, so what I want to say,
Bulky
don't
hats.
do that. Because
Okay, if
stress
you're
knit.
really in a pinch and you really need to do a present, bulky yarn, small projects, bulky cowl, bulky hat. That's about it. Otherwise, it's not, yeah. Otherwise, I'm with you, Jana. Just be
I'm going to
realistic.
say, and here's the other consideration. If you're tempted to go out and buy a skein of bulky and do what Anne has suggested, okay, maybe that's valid, but ask yourself, is this person knit worthy?
Yes.
Or do you maybe just want to go get that box Hickory Farms thing and be like, here's a summer sausage, love ya? I mean, I don't know.
Or if you really want to hand knit something for them, buy the yarn and the pom-pom or whatever you're going to do with it. Put that in a box and give it to them. Let them open it, take it back, and tell them you'll get it to them by the end of January. You know, like,
and that's pressure.
Whatever. I mean, anyone can do a bulky hat in a month and a day, you know, a month and a week. That's fine. But don't put yourself in a position a week and few days ahead of Christmas
Of
or
stress
any
knitting.
gift giving holiday. I've been there enough.
Stress knit. Don't stress knit.
So this last year in January, so we have the Yarn Stash Restash coming up this year, which starts the day after Christmas. I used to call it the D-Stash, but I didn't actually make anyone get rid of anything. And it really was more about organizing. So I'm rebranding this year. It's Yarn Stash Restash. And part of that is to pull out all your half knit projects and deal with them. And I used to use January to deal with them. myself personally. That's not part of the process. That's just how I did with it. But this last year I hardly had anything on the needles. So I was like, okay, well, what I'm going to do instead is do some bulky knitting and just clear up space in my stash by using up these bulky knits. So what happened was I knit a bunch of bulky hats and cowls and everything. And I was like, excellent. My Christmas knitting is done at the end of January. And you know what my family did? Do you know what my family did this year?
I could not guess.
My extended family decided that instead of doing gifts for everybody, they were just going to do gifts for like Secret Santa, pull a name kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I have knitting done in January for everyone. And now my family is responsible for gifting to 4 people instead of like a dozen.
But that's okay. It's not like it's going to go bad. It doesn't
It's not going to go bad.
And you could also donate it to like your local veterans.
Yeah, could do that too and get it done. But I'm like, I did this to clear up space. And then I ended up keeping a big gift bag full of stuff, space. And now I'm not even getting rid of it for the purpose that anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, Jana, you are 100% right. Don't put yourself in that position. Be realistic about your time, folks.
I'm going to link to a Are They Knitworthy video down below in the description because I made a video about that and it was a little bit controversial, but I stand by my knitworthy criteria.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we had a really fun interview with Rachelle from Moondrake Company. Oh yeah, I guess we should do that, huh? Talk about ADHD. Woo! Squirrel. That's me.
We still have things to do.
We do.
Oh, real quick. I'm still swatching from yesterday.
Oh yeah, how'd that go?
I've gotten up to a size 5 at this point.
What?
Yeah.
You're a tight knitter.
So this is my 3rd swatch. Or the person I'm knitting after is a very loose knitter. This is why you have to swatch. You can't go by someone else's gauge.
Preach it, sister.
And people think that there is a right gauge and designers knit according to a right gauge. That's not what happens.
Like there's some
designer knits it.
Yeah.
The designer knits it and tells you what he or she used to get that result. And that is not the right way. You have to figure out if you knit the same that the designer does. Because there are designers for Laxdale Yarn who knit the same that I do. And I know I check, but I know that, well, this designer's the person who did it. I'm going to be fine. I check, I'm fine. I go on. This designer for Laxdale Yarn has a different way of knitting than I do. And so I'm glad I checked. Because it's not the yarn, it's not the needle, it's the knitter who sets the gauge. So I suspect I'm getting more to a fabric that I like. Yeah. The first one with that was just like super dense. So I think this might be it. And if it's not it, this might just be what I go with, and I'll do a little bit of math because I really like this fabric. Yeah. Anyway.
Cool.
Rant over.
Here's a dilemma because I really like your ripples pattern. My dilemma is, do I cast on that or do I finish the color work yoke sweater that's been over here in a bag for a year?
Well,
which I really still like. It's just
if you do the yarn stash restash with me, you can put off that decision until we get to that day. And in the meantime, you can just keep on casting stuff on guilt-free. Deal with that later. No, I was swatching for this and I remembered, I cast on and knit like 80% of a sweater that I really want to wear. And so last night I stopped swatching because I knew I could knit this swatch while I was talking to you. And I pulled out that sweater and got the front part here knit.
And are you going to show it to us?
No, because it's over there. I'll show you another day.
All right. You'll show us tomorrow.
Okay, yeah, I'll make sure I have it tomorrow. But there's photos like back on my feed of the start of it and stuff too. So
Okay.
anyway,
Yeah.
who's going first today?
You are.
Okay, number 17.
Yay.
Ooh. So this one is Heather.
Oh.
We have Midnight
Oh.
from yesterday, and
Oh,
we have Heather
wow.
from today. Whoop, whoop. There we go.
Wow.
So I love these.
And what size are those? 25 grams?
25 grams,
Okay.
jumper weight. We're into jumper weight now.
Which for non-European, non-people, that's fingering.
Yeah, it's like fingering, light fingering.
Yeah. I forgot to grab my 17. Here we go.
So 25 grams. They don't have the yardage on here, but it's probably about 109 to 120 usually is how that comes in.
Mm-hmm.
Two great colors go great together.
That is lovely.
Yeah.
Okay, so our day 17 Indian Tangled mini skein is, here's your sticker.
Okay. Okay. Is that watermelon?
Yes.
Okay. Now I actually remember who the person is, so I remember where she is, but I don't understand the watermelon connection.
I'm not sure I do either.
Okay, so it's Oklahoma City, Oklahoma City.
Right.
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. But
How
I
many
don't understand.
times
Someone's
can we
going
say
to have
Oklahoma?
to Oklahoma. Someone's going to have to explain in the comments
The watermelon
thing for us.
But we had a really fun interview with Rachelle from Moondrake Yarn Company. And
was she the first person we interviewed?
I think so. And for a second, we were like, wait a second, because that's been like 6 weeks ago. We started pre-recording. So, but of course, as soon as we saw her face on their pre-recorded video, we were like, oh, that's right. She was so fun.
So much fun. Yeah,
Super
we had a
fun.
great time.
And her sweater is super fun too. So stay tuned for that.
It's a great story too.
Yeah.
Great life story. Yeah.
Okay, so we were about to cut away and go away, and I just didn't open the package yet. So let's do that. Shall we see what lovely
we totally signed off, and we're like, oh wait.
Oh wait. Talk about has been an attention deficit morning, has it not? What is that up with us? Oh my word. Now I can't get the thing open. Wow. This is difficult. This is proving to be a challenging day.
I would have laughed so hard if we had completely missed it and I got a text from you at like 12:30. Can you come back so we can open the package?
It's so pretty.
Oh, it's beautiful.
That
is very beautiful. And that's another dramatic change.
Yes. I feel like we're going to a different family now.
Yeah.
Wow.
That is lovely.
This is a silky sock mini.
Ooh.
80 yards, 75% superwash merino, 20% silk, 5% nylon.
Nice. That's very nice.
Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
Where the wind comes whipping down the plains. That's all I know.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, thanks for that.
It's another musical morning.
Yeah. Okay. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye for real this time.
Bye. Welcome. We're really happy to have you, Rachelle, from Moondrake Yarns. I'm Jana from Pearl Together, and this is Anne from the I Thought I Knew How podcast. Yay.
Hi, everybody.
Yay.
Hi.
We're super excited to have you on.
Thank you.
Yes. So you're coming to us from
Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Yes.
We're just going to start out by saying welcome, and that's a fantastic sweater.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tell us about your sweater.
Thank you so much. This is Andre Murray's striped sweater. Initially, this is knitted with my newest base, Fuafua, which is a brushed cashmere yarn. We can talk about it later when, or are we talking about it right now?
We can talk about it now. I want to hear about it now.
I want to hear about it.
I
So,
saw that base on your website when I was looking last night, and it looks amazing. It just, yeah. So I want to hear more. Go ahead.
okay. So, first of all, when I first got this yarn, and I was thinking, what should I make a sample with it? Because if I just do swatches, it won't show the flexibility of this yarn, like what you can make. So I decided, okay, striped sweater is perfect because it's like as many color as you want to put on your sweater. You can just do basically 4 color to up to how many you want. So the pattern required for sportswear, and my yarn is light fingering. So when you hold them together, it becomes sportswear. So I thought perfect. So I have 1 skein of each color. In my sweater, I have 7 color. So I held the bow with play with the needle size a little bit, up a little bit of the needle size. So, and then I got the gauge.
Yeah.
So, and then that's it. That's the sweater. And it took me like 2 weeks to knit. It's so easy to knit.
Wow.
This is a very nice pattern. It's really well written, and you don't need to remember. It's just knit, 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 knit. So it's perfect for like watching TV. Or
yes, we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rachelle, how did you get into dyeing yarn as a profession?
It's funny story. Like I met my knitting group through. I was a board game cafe owner. So,
oh wow,
cool.
Yes.
I love board game cafes.
Yes,
love
my
that.
husband and I are very big fan of board games and
Me too.
all kinds of nerdy stuff.
Yeah.
So bunch of our friends and us decided maybe we should try board game cafe because there were none in Oklahoma before. So we opened the first one in the state. So, and then we got a huge crowd, different crowd, and then we attracted a group of knitters. They come to our cafe twice a week for meet up to knit. And I said, whoa, I know how to knit. It's not like I don't know how to knit. So, and then finally I find something that I can blend in a little bit beside the nerdy side. So they were fantastic group. They are they told me about hand dye yarn because I have no knowledge of hand dye yarn at all. I just buy yarn from Michael's or Joanne and something like that. I didn't know there was a hand dye yarn. And then they said, you should try to buy hand dye yarn. I said, okay. And then of course, everybody will buy Hedgehog the very first time. And it's a little bit too busy for me. It's not, I love their color, but sometimes like when you do color work sweater, you cannot have so many things going on.
Yeah.
So I thought I cannot find my color. And then they said, why don't you dye your own yarn? So I can dye my own yarn. They said, yeah, that's hand dye yarn. And then I did some research. I watched a lot of YouTube videos, and then I learned how to dye yarn. And then there we go. I bought my first batch of yarn from Nipix, of course.
Right.
Yeah, so
Back then, before nobody knows how to get other yarn. So I started to dye yarn, and then the very first batch, like my knitting group bought them all. So I didn't have any yarn left.
That's a good group, though. Good job. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they like board games and knitting. Of course, they're fantastic people.
Yeah, they are. They are very, very nice. And then that's how I started.
Yeah.
And then I knit my very first colorwork sweater.
Wow. That's amazing.
That's amazing. That's a great story.
And tell us about Moondrake, the name of the shop.
As my game character name.
Okay.
Yes. So my husband and I play Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
So that is my character's name. I use it all the time. So I thought, why not? I like it.
That's cool.
I love that.
My daughters play D&D, and I'll have to tell her. I'll have to tell her.
Okay, great. It's awesome.
So on your website, you're talking about you're from Canada. How did you end up in Oklahoma City? From
the only one reason, it was my husband.
I wondered about that.
Yeah, we met online playing video games, and then
that's cool.
I don't know how we end up talking on the side instead of just killing zombies and stuff. And then we start talking, and then at first he didn't believe I was a woman. He thought I was a guy, pretend I'm a woman. So I never use talking. I always typing because I don't want people to know I'm a woman. So, and then he said, I never heard your voice. I don't know if you are really a woman or not. I said, I don't know how to prove it. Then we start talking. Then he realized I am a woman. That's how we started.
And then, was he from Oklahoma City at the time?
No, he born here. He's like here. He's local. He born and raised here. Yes.
Okay, I see. Okay. Wow, that's amazing. So then you started dating.
Yeah. Long distance for 3 years.
Oh. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Internet brought you together.
Yes.
Oh.
It's quite the matchmaker these days.
Yeah. It's not a new thing anymore. Like back then, probably anybody is like, are you sure it's not safe?
Well, it worked out for you. That's wonderful.
Yes. If it's not him, I probably will never dye yarn because I will never met the group of knitters, and then I probably like just in Canada, like everybody working a job.
Yeah, it's amazing how these decisions, lead us to different places. Yeah, I love that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Rachelle, where do you draw your inspiration from as you're choosing your colors?
Usually I would say from some sort of like abstract, like I follow a lot of abstract art people like on Instagram, and sometimes I just like randomly found a picture, and then I like it, and then I will start one color, and then from that color I will span out with variation of colors. Like usually, like not really. Sometimes it will be like an inspiration photo. Sometimes it will be just I want to mix this color together and see how it turns out. So that's how I experiment with colors as well. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah,
so you touched on this a little bit before when you were talking about your striped sweater. You mentioned it's really good Netflix or TV knitting. So when you're working or when you're knitting, what are some of your favorite TV shows or audiobooks that I'm always looking for something new, I'm
a true crime binger. It's funny, like I met a lot of designers and yarn dyer. They are also like binge watch like documentary of true crimes.
Okay.
So they were like every time like I find out another person also do that, and then we would just exchange information. Where do you find this? Like I want to watch this. It's like that's how I find all the shows to watch. It's like from other people or like just like searching on internet to see. If you ask me a lot of questions of the famous serial killer, I can tell you a lot.
I'm not sure.
I watch all of them.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I learned how they I'm not sure if I should say that. Like I learned how they kill people, what their patterns, like how they like it. Some of them like to eat their victims. Some of them I don't think we should talk about this at all.
So does it make your husband nervous?
At the beginning, because sometimes I say, "Oh, look at how they kill this person," and then they just dump the body on the side of the highway. I said, "That is so stupid. If I were going to kill you, I will, I will like do whatever, like try to hide his body or something." He's like, "Don't tell me this kind of stuff. I don't need to know."
I would think it might make him slightly nervous to, have you like chopping vegetables for dinner, and he's like, I think I won't make her mad today.
I do have a lot of knives. I do.
Okay.
I love the thought that you could be watching a Netflix true crime documentary with your husband and just be like, oh, they're such rookies.
No, that's not how you do it. Okay, then. Wow.
Yep. That's what I watch.
Sorry, go ahead. Okay. I wanted to actually add a question, knowing now what you and your husband do. Is there a board game that you would recommend for knitters where you can play and still knit for a while?
2 years ago, there was two knitting related game came out, but right now I don't really remember the name. Maybe I can send you the link later.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. There it was specifically like one was designed by two knitters. And then the other one is I don't know if they're affiliate with Ravelry or something, but I don't.
Okay.
I probably not, but there were two very big one. All the
Was
knitters.
one Last Knitter Standing? Does that sound familiar?
Is it a card deck building game? Is it like a card game?
I got it, and I haven't actually played it because I got it right before the lockdown, and so then our group stopped meeting, so I couldn't take it to a group and play it. So it's literally, I can see it on my shelf from here. I think it's still in the wrapper.
Oh, I couldn't get any of them because, like, you're right. It's about that time before it locked down. Like they both came out. One was like from Kickstarter, asking people to back them, and then that one was big. That one is not a card, like a deck building. There's one is just like a deck of cards, so you play with a deck of cards. That is like designed by two knitters. And so the card is funny, like they would say, "Oh, fingering way," and then you have to match with some other. You have to find the needles that to use that card for fingering way. It's really it's perfect game. That one is so awesome. I need to find the name. And I will send it to you guys.
Okay,
So
so it'll be in the links below then.
Yeah. I'll interject. One game that we really like that I feel like I have time to knit between my turns. Because it takes, my husband, he takes forever to take a turn. I mean, we start playing the Jeopardy theme song because it takes so long. I mean, I think we should have one of those flip over timers when it's his turn because, yeah. So, but it's Unstable Unicorns.
Oh, yeah.
I love that game. And that I can take my turn and then I can knit a few rounds while everybody else takes their turn because they take forever to figure out what they want to do next. And there's a lot of strategy involved. So you can be thinking about it. And if you're just knitting round and round on a sock, you're just going round and round, then you don't really have to think about your knitting when you can strategize at the same time. I don't know if that's what you meant, Anne.
Yeah, that is.
Other people take long enough that I can get some knitting in before it's my turn again.
Yeah, because we do family board game nights, and every now and then I hit on one where I just can't knit while we're doing it because it's everyone's doing the turn at the same time. Like one of those kind of games, those aren't good for knitting too. Those aren't good.
No, like Pictionary, you kind of have to pay attention.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I like Unstable Unicorns because
Yeah.
I have time between turns to, or I know this is old school, but we play chess. And I can knit while I'm waiting for my daughter to make her move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're serious about chess.
That's good. You must like the show Queen's Gambit.
Gambit. That's a good watch.
That's a good show. I
It
watched it.
was. I might watch it again. It's been a couple of years.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the Knitty just came out with the Gambit sweater or the Queen's Gambit sweater or something. There's a pattern that's someone designed based on the show. So it all ties in.
I'll put the link for that. I'll go find that. I'll go find that. Put the link down below. Okay.
Excellent.
That's wonderful.
Perfect.
So, Rachelle, what do you have coming up for the new year? I know we're pre-recording this and it might be a little early to ask you this question, but what do you have coming up for your business in the new year?
I have a couple of really big things, but I cannot say anything about it. In early March and April, both are really big. So closer time, I probably will talk about it. Okay. But right now I cannot.
But people should watch your Instagram, watch your social media. They could do that.
Exactly.
And knowing that there will be things coming up that are.
Yes. And I do have new bases coming in and here and there. But I would like to give your viewer a discount code from the day that like December 17, if I'm 17.
Right.
So from that day on to end of December, I will give 10% off for your viewer for whatever they want to buy on my website.
Awesome. Thanks, Rachelle.
Yes.
That's wonderful. So that's coupon is good until the end of the month?
End of December.
And is there a code they should use?
Pearl together. All capital case.
Perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
That's wonderful.
Hopefully people can enjoy this Fua yarn. It's really amazing. I saw like in two of my events, they are like the best sold out. They sold out right away. Wow. So it's really good. If you guys want to try it, should try it. Mm-hmm. And I have new bases coming in. Like I have like this cashmerino. It's cashmere and merino. 80% merino, 20% cashmere. Ooh. It's very drapey. And next year I have a couple of new bases too. So stay tuned.
Awesome.
It's been delightful to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, Rachelle, it was great to meet you. Thank you.
Yeah, great to meet you guys too.